The following video is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon, and now's a good time to pledge if you haven't done so already. Head over to patreon.com/casualmode, take a look at all the rewards tiers, all the goals that we have up there, and consider pledging today. You can get early access to videos, a special role on the Discord server, and so much more. If you can't afford to pledge for whatever reason, I encourage you to like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on where you're watching this, and just spread the word about Casual Mode. I appreciate you all. As always, keep it casual. Hello out there, casual fanatics. Jeremy here. And I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time. I've kind of been struggling on this, wanting to do this because videos on this particular topic can get a little contentious because everybody's got their own opinions, and there's a lot of misinformation that's out there, and I don't wish to perpetuate any of it. But what I want to do is, as you can see by, that wall scroll back there, and, this t-shirt here as well, I am a Dragon Ball fan. I have been a Dragon Ball fan for quite some time. And, I love Dragon Ball so much. I've played both Xenoverse games, including playing Xenoverse 2 on stream. I've done Dragon Ball roleplay in the past. I created the 2 Fun 5e builds videos where I created a Saiyan and a Frieza race character. And I have even created additional characters based on Dragon Ball Z for various different games. I've got a creator wrestler that's Vegeta for WWE 2K17, and I created Vegeta, Kaba, and Son Gohan for XCOM 2. So I have a lot of affection for Dragon Ball. I've been watching Dragon Ball Super recently, and I have a lot of thoughts that I want to share on them. My own little headcanons, my own opinions. Now, before we get into this, first off, going to be a lot of spoilers for Dragon Ball Super. If you haven't seen any of the series at all, I'm going to be talking a lot about what happens in the series in its entirety. So you may want to either go watch the series first, or you may want to turn this video off. Secondly, all the headcanons that I'm about to say in here are precisely that. They are my opinions, and I encourage you to treat them the same that you would treat your own opinions. None of this is gospel. This is all just speculation and stuff that I have come up with to try and rationalize things to myself. So, with that in mind, let's talk Dragon Ball Super, shall we? So, like I said, I have a long history with Dragon Ball. This actually goes all the way back to the initial Ocean Group dubs that were on syndication in the United States back around the mid-90s that would air after school, and going all the way through the Toonami days. I basically grew up with Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat as Goku and Vegeta. So, I grew up with that, so I never really did get a lot of the Japanese side of it, a lot of the Japanese personalities, until I got into college and got to watch the Japanese Dragon Ball movies, when the time when there were no official releases for them yet, so you had to find fan subs. Yes, I was a dirty, filthy pirate back then. I am all about us supporting the official releases now, mostly because A, they exist, and B, I actually have money. Well, to some degree anyway. And, I grew up with a very kind of superheroic Goku. So, I'm just as used to, as much as, almost anybody, I'm just as used to seeing the kinder, more Superman-like Goku. But I have seen some of the Japanese. I have seen more of the Blood Knight stuff. And, of course, being a fan of things like alternate reality Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I have been exposed to other parts and other bits of the perception of the universe that I had previously missed in the Toonami days. So, I will admit, the way Goku has been turning out in Dragon Ball Super has kind of thrown me and in many ways angered me. I will absolutely admit that because, again, of my perception of Dragon Ball that I had when I was growing up. So, seeing what's happening with Goku in in Dragon Ball Super, especially in the most recent arc, the Universe Survival arc, has really become unsettling. But I think I know what's going on there. And it actually ties back to the beginning of Super itself, or more accurately, the Dragon Ball Z movie Battle of Gods. In fact, it all centers around the Super Saiyan God ritual. Now, in order to get my point across, I need to take a little bit of a side tangent here first. And talk about the concept of a god itself, as in our terms, in human terms. Gods, I believe, are really idealized depictions of humanity. They're basically humans with immense and largely unstoppable power. And if you look at a lot of the pantheons out there, you can see why I might think that. There's the Greek and Roman pantheon, where, God, those gods did a lot of dumb shit. There's the Norse pantheon, where there are gods for pretty much every element of life and humanity there. Life, death, battle, the elements, trickery, Hinduism, Shintoism, all various different cultures that all have gods that are either a part of things that we can perceive or are a part of humanity and life itself. So, my definition of a god basically is an idealization of some element of humanity or mortality that we have constructed into a larger being. Whether or not there's any actual larger being to equate to that perception is not for me to say. I've had my issues with religion, so I'm not going to go into that. But, just for the sake of what we're talking about here with Dragon Ball, let's say that my definition of a god rings true. What would a Super Saiyan god really be then? How would you define a god of Saiyans? Well, using that same logic, the god of Saiyans would be some kind of archetype of the Saiyan reality. It would be some kind of absolute perfection of something that Saiyans would hold dear. At least the Universe 7 Saiyans. Now, the Universe 7 Saiyans, as opposed to the Universe 6 Saiyans, where the likes of Kaba come from, are all incredible Blood Knights. At least the ones that we've seen that have existed. they are all warriors to the core. They are all blood knights. They are all about the battle. So, it would stand to reason that in Universe 7, a Super Saiyan God would be the ultimate battle machine, would be the most powerful, the most unstoppable, would be the one who just desperately desires a challenge in battle, that ever wants to ever continue to increase in power. Now, a Universe 6 Saiyan might look a little bit different, but that's not going to be a discussion for this moment. Now consider that, for as far as we know, there is only one Saiyan in Universe 7 in the modern era that has undergone the Super Saiyan God ritual. That being Goku. Yes, Vegeta has tapped into God Ki, but we do not have any evidence that he ever went through the Saiyan God ritual. It's been suggested that he might at some point, when Goku goes through the God ritual, Vegeta basically says, "Next time it's me," But there's no evidence that ever actually happened. So, the only known person to go through the Super Saiyan God ritual in Dragon Ball Super is Goku. And my working theory here, is that moment changed Goku. He had already been exhibiting Saiyan traits of, seeking power for power's sake and being selfish and really being about a bigger fight. As far back as, the end of the Saiyan era. The end of the Saiyan saga, when he let Vegeta go so that Vegeta could get stronger and come back and fight him again. Because he wanted to have that great fight. As early as that point, he started exhibiting those traits. But even as he went through the Cell Saga, through his what the hell moment there, where he's like, I'm done now. Gohan's got this. He's totally got this. And even into the Buu Saga, when he could have obliterated Majin Buu as Super Saiyan 3, but didn't because he wanted to give the kids a shot. Even though he had those moments, it didn't get kicked into gear until after the Super Saiyan God ritual. The Super Saiyan God ritual started changing him into that archetypal Saiyan. And here's how I know. First, let's go to the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. He sets up this tournament at first. He and Vegeta, lay the ground rules down according to what they know, including the very important rule of no killing. All of a sudden, in the midst of his fight against Hit, Goku outright says, "Hey, you know that rule about not killing people? Can we get rid of that? I want to fight this guy at his best." What? Yeah, at that point, it's like you're putting your life on the line for a solid fight against this really strong guy. Did you not think to consult with everybody else before you asked that? No, I just want to ask it. Anyway, that seems to be the beginning of it. And it actually leads into the second main part of it, which is when he's preparing for the when he's trying to, keep himself training, keeping that the idea of the multiversal tournament in the back of his mind, where he's like, oh, there are 10 other universes? I want to fight strong guys from them. My Goku voice these days is very much inspired by Masako X. And by the way, I need to take a brief moment out here to thank both Masako X and Big D from Geekdom 101. Because without their suggestions and their advice, this video would not be happening. I was very reluctant to do this, and they gave me the confidence to just go for it. So, yeah, as he's preparing for that, at some point in his mind, this exchange went down between Goku and Whis. Hey, Whis, I've got an idea. I'm getting really bored, and I want to train to my highest ability, but I'm going to need your help. Sure, Goku. What's going on? Are you want me to train you again? Nah, I need you to talk to your sister. Why would you want me to do that, Goku? Well, because I want her to hire Hit for me. What? Yeah, I want to hire Hit to kill me so that I can fight him at his strongest. Are you sure about that, Goku? Yeah, I'm sure. Have you talked this over with your family? Nah. Have you talked this over with your friends? Nah. Have you talked this over with Vegeta? Nah. Alright then, but don't say I didn't warn you. Yay! I get to fight Hit. Okay, obviously that's not an exchange that actually happened. That's just me kind of trying to figure out how that exchange might have gone down between Goku and Hit. Or Goku and Whis. But yeah! Goku hires a hitman against himself to try to kill him because he wants to fight Hit at his best. Now, again, this does fall in line with some of his more Blood Knight tendencies, but that's when the Dragon Ball fandom's wheels started to turn. That's when things started to get a little nuts here. That's when a lot of people, myself included, were like, dude, what the fuck? You realize, if he kills you, you're dead. You realize if you're dead, that means that you're going to break Chi-Chi's heart. You're going to break your kid's heart. A lot of your friends are going to be heartbroken. What the hell? I mean, and even in a world where death is relatively cheap with the Dragon Balls, when it appears that Goku actually has been killed by Hit, Goten and Gohan are right there, heartbroken. Piccolo is there desperately trying to key defibrillate him back to life. Don't tell me death doesn't have consequences in that universe when the characters treat it like it does. This isn't Dragon Ball Z abridged. This is the actual Dragon Ball universe, and death matters. Which is gonna come back a little bit later. But yeah, without thinking of the potential damage that he could do to his family and the emotional weight that it is going to put on his friends and his family, He just ups and hires a hitman on himself. We don't get this grand and wonderful arc where we're trying to figure out, who hired Hit Son Goku, and how do we kick his ass? Because the villain was right under our noses all the time, and I know people are probably going to get at me for using that term, villain, in reference to Goku in this particular instance. I want to make it clear, I am not saying that Goku is turning evil. I'm saying he's being a dick, but I'm not necessarily saying he's being evil. I'm just using it for, well, for hyperbolic purposes in this case, really. And no, not hyperbolic as in time chamber. But yeah, that was the point where a lot of people in the Dragon Ball fandom, especially people like me who grew up with the superheroic version of Goku, were like, what the hell? And then even for some of us, when it was explained that Japanese Goku has to some extent always been like that, for myself, I still felt, well, still, what the hell? Or should I say what the heffel in this case? We're not mid-90s. We're not mid-90s Ocean Dub. Anyway. So, yeah, at that point, that's when the wheels started to turn in my head. What's going on with Goku here? And then came the news of the Universal Survival Arc. And especially the news that all the universes that lose the arc are getting blowed the frick up. Again, a lot of people at that moment, especially the Western fans who grew up with the dub portrayal of Goku in that moment, were like, what the hell, man? And even as events have played out in the Universal Survival Arc, where it finds out that they are doing yard work outside and it is interrupting my flow. Anyway, as we kept going through this arc, and it turned out that, well, for one thing, wasn't Goku's idea, and for another thing, Zeno kind of had this in the back of his mind anyway. It's just that when he and future Zeno got together and they started planning the multiversal tournament, that was really where it came to the forefront. It kind of let Goku off of the hook a little bit, except for the fact that Goku doesn't seem to give a fuck. Goku just takes this news that all the losing universes from the tournament are basically going to be completely erased, and his immediate thought isn't, trying to figure out some kind of contingency plan here, or to go to talk to Zen-chan and try to get him to change his mind, because if anybody can get Zen-chan to change his mind, it's probably Goku. No, his thought is, well, I'll just beat all the best guys from all the universes, and then our universe will survive, and everything will be okay. Not realizing that his victory still dooms several quadrillion people to death. And then we have the exhibition bout, where all of the gods from all of the universes have congregated to witness a battle between three of the best of Universe 9 and three of the best of Universe 7. the two universes with the lowest mortal level, which I subscribe to the, civility and respect theory on that. I'll let you know why a little bit later on. Damn trimmer. Anyway. Goku has no awareness of the situation. Has no awareness of the gravity of the situation. As far as he knows, as far as he's concerned, he's getting what he wants. And that just makes him ridiculously happy. So he's just openly like, "Hey, Zinchan, thanks for doing this for me, buddy." And the other gods, not knowing any of the context whatsoever, are like, "Dude! This mortal is a dick!" He's disrespecting the king of everything. He's being disrespectful to the rest of us. He's put our lives on the line. Why? And Goku just goes, "'Cause I wanted to fight all the best guys from all the universes." And as far as the gods know, they don't know that the destruction of the universes was not Goku's idea. No one has mentioned that. Well, I mean, aside from the moment where Daishinkan was like, "Oh, Zenos already kind of had this idea for destroying the universes based on their mortal level," but they have no idea. But the gods still have no idea. And granted, Goku didn't have any idea about that either. But he didn't try and stop it at any point. No! It's the universe's 9's champion, Bergamo, that tries to stop it. It's the guy who is the big brother to a fox who basically used steroids in mid-bout, and a coyote who used poison. It's their fox brother that's like, I mean, it's their wolf big brother that's like, "Zeno, if I beat this guy, will you spare us? Spare us." And Zeno's like, the Zenos are like, "Okay." And then of course, to make matters worse, because I feared there was going to be some kind of shenanigans going on with this. I just didn't predict how the shenanigans were going to happen. Daishinkan then goes, "Oh, by the way, Goku, you can't hold back." And Goku's like, "Well, it's fine. I wasn't going to hold back anyway." You had an out. You had an out. Bergamo gave you an opportunity to not have the universes destroyed. You could have at least made your loss look convincing. I'm not necessarily saying throw the match, but, well, actually, yeah, I am saying you could have found some way to make a throne match look convincing to everyone. You could have saved the universes. But you're like, "Nah, I was going to go all out anyway." Okay, it's probably not in those exact words, but that's what it came across as to me. It came across as precisely that. It came across precisely as, it's okay. I was going to go full force anyway. So, I mean, and then after that fight, to make matters worse, this guy, who I still firmly believe is slowly turning into the full epitome of the Universe 7 Saiyan, goes up to the gods after his victory against Bergamo to say, "Bring all your best people. I'll take them all on." And all the gods are like, "Yeah, you're gonna take them all on because we are all keen on your ass." Even Bergamo's like, "You have made an enemy out of everybody. Your ass is grass now." If it weren't for the fact that the Tournament of Power is basically going to be an 80-man Royal Rumble, Goku is probably going to get killed about 10 times over by each different universe. And Goku's just like, alright. I'll take you all on. So you see, he keeps getting worse over time because he's slowly becoming that icon of Saiyandom, and not in the good ways. He's becoming the perfect Saiyan, the perfect Blood Knight. He's not turning evil, he's becoming more and more Saiyan as time goes along. He is basically starting to become Vegeta before Vegeta came to Earth. Except, in this case, Goku is immensely more powerful now than Vegeta was in the Saiyan saga. Here's what I think this is leading to. We already know that there are at least 3 main players that are going to get a lot of good shots in. We've got Bergamo. He's going to want to take some more big shots at Goku. We've got Toppo, who, aside from having a sparring match before the tournament begins, is probably going to be telling his fellow Pride Troopers, "Look, you see that guy with the black hair, with the black spiky hair, with the orange gi, the one who can turn blue. Destroy him. I mean, don't kill him, but destroy him. He's freaking evil." I mean, Toppo in the most recent episode even said that, "I see you as evil for what you're doing here." And Goku's just like, "So I'm evil. Okay." Not only are we going to have Bergamo and Toppo and the Pride Troopers going after him, amongst those Pride Troopers is a character from the most current opening, Limit Break X Survivor, that basically looks like an XCOM 2 sectoid on steroids. So with him, that's 3 main people that are already going to be getting after Goku. But then you have to consider that every universe, aside from Universe 7, because that's the only universe that he's from, their Kais and Gods of Destruction are going to tell their 10 fighters, all other 7 universes actually that are participating in this, because I forgot, there's 4 universes that aren't participating because of their high mortal level. All other 7 universes, their gods and their Kais are going to tell their 10 fighters, "You see this guy? This guy with the black spiky hair, can turn blonde, sometimes turn it blue. This guy's an asshole. This guy is the reason why our butts are on the line. Whatever it takes, whatever you have to do within the rules of the tournament, you throw this guy out and you do it immediately." If you want to go by Royal Rumble terms, this is basically going to be like The Big Show or Kane or any of those other really, really big guys that when they get into the Royal Rumble, everybody who's there in the ring immediately goes after them to try and get them out. Because they are the biggest threat there. And what I think this is going to lead up to is that after those 3 big fights, Goku's going out early. He's going to have 3 good fights with Toppo, Bergamo, and the steroid sectoid, and then he's just going to get dogpiled and thrown out. This is not to say that I think Universe 7 is going to lose, though. What I think is going to happen is that Universe 7 will win because of someone who might actually have a mortal level that would impress the gods. Someone who has a level of respect and civility like no other character in Universe 7. Someone who might actually have the ability to sway the opinions of the gods and teach them that Universe 7 has more going for it than just this asshole named Son Goku. The person that I think is going to win it for Universe 7 isn't even pictured in this image that I'm showing. I think it's going to be Son Gohan. I think that part of his comeback is going to be that he is going to be the smartest, the wiliest, and yes, in some ways, even strong. Maybe not the strongest, but strong enough to become the sole survivor for Universe 7. And because of that, it's not going to be Goku saving the other universe's asses. It's going to be Gohan. Because Gohan doesn't have those Blood Knight tendencies. He cares about things like this. When he finds out about the universe destruction rule, his immediate instinct is to tell Goku, look, do not tell anyone else about this. No one else needs to know this. If you tell them, they will never forgive you. They're going to be angry with you. Do not let them know about this. This is far too dangerous. And Goku has also, while he's not really been in combat one of the stronger characters for the large bulk of Super, because he's been focusing on his studies, he's also been focusing on growing himself as a person. He's becoming more of a true individual. He's becoming a very respectful, kind, intelligent person. And I think that suits him better as a savior role in this arc than having Goku pull something out of his ass. So I think that the savior for Universe 7 isn't going to be Son Goku, it's going to be Son Gohan. And Son Gohan is either going to be the one to take initiative and restore the universes that are destroyed, or prevent the destruction of the universes outright by being a more respectful, kind person. And in the wake of this, I think the biggest thing that's going to happen in this is we're going to see what happens when Vegeta finds out. Because let's do a little comparison study here. While Goku's been drifting more into becoming a Saiyan as a part of the Saiyan God, Vegeta, who, again, as far as we know, has not undergone the Saiyan God ritual, has been becoming more and more human. He has things and people that he cares about. He loves Earth. He loves his family. He cares so much about his own race, even if they're from a different universe, that he is willing to help one of their champions become more powerful and become successful. He is becoming a more enlightened, wise person. He is becoming the prince that he always was, only now he's not only the prince in title, he's the prince in mindset. But the one thing that has always been a stumbling block to Vegeta is Goku. Here you have this low-level Saiyan who has beaten him on multiple occasions, beaten him outright, or even by the skin of his teeth, more than once. He's eventually settled into a friendly rivalry with Goku. But at the same time, Vegeta still has a lot of pride. That's never going away. No matter how much his character evolves, he still has a lot of pride in his Saiyan heritage. He still has a lot of pride in his race. And he still has a lot of pride in himself. And I think in this case, he also has a lot of pride in his universe. So, when he finds out that Goku has put his universe and all universes on the line for the sake of fighting stronger people, especially considering his growing annoyance with some of Goku's eccentricities as of late, including the lack of empathy towards the fact that he wants to stay there for his wife, who is about to have his second child. He wasn't there when the first one was born. He's wanting to make that right and be there for his second child. Goku doesn't seem to get it. And you can see in the show itself, or maybe it's just my perception on this, it's probably just my perception on this, that Vegeta seems to be growing in annoyance over this. When Vegeta finds out about this universal destruction rule, I honestly think Vegeta's going to snap. I honestly think that Vegeta, maybe he's not going to, want to fight Goku, but he is going to give him a God-tier telling off. Because Vegeta's done all this work to become a powerful, respectable person. You know, he has done all he can to, limit his power to when he absolutely needs to fight. Even as he continues to train obsessively, he's tried to become a more civilized human being for the sake of his family, who he loves desperately. And he's seeing Goku become less and less civilized as he goes on. Maybe he catches on to, that Goku is becoming more and more classical Saiyan. Maybe at the point he even eventually sees Goku as being like how he used to be. And that angers him. Because it's like, look, Kakarot, you gave me the chance to become something better. You gave me the chance to become stronger and to become a better person. And look at what's becoming of you. You remind me of the me that I used to be. And you disgust me, Kakarot. As your prince, I am disgusted. If anything is going to smack Goku back into reality, it's going to be a beatdown from the entirety of all 7 universes that his universe is competing against. The realization that his son has had to clean up after his mess, and then ultimately a verbal smackdown from his prince. This is what I hope will happen, and this is what I think is going to happen. Because Goku is going down the road to becoming the perfect Saiyan at his own detriment. He's not becoming evil, but he is becoming something incredibly more dangerous than just being outright evil. You know, evil is something you can fight against. Evil is something that you can look at and say, no. Evil is something that, while it may try to present itself as being good, is something that you can generally look at and say, yeah, I don't want any part of that. What Goku's becoming is more insidious. And yes, I do think that this is more insidious than being evil. He is, in fact, as some, including Masako X, have mentioned, he is becoming an anti-hero. He's becoming an anti-hero because he's not only getting in the way of the villains, he's starting to get in the way of his friends and his family, the people that he cares about. He is starting to become a detriment to them and to the world in which they inhabit. All because he selfishly wants bigger and bigger and bigger fights. To the point where Beerus, the most temperamental creature in the entirety of Universe 7, the freaking god of destruction, who can obliterate planets with the snap of a finger, is looking at Goku and is going, I should destroy you. I should destroy you right now. I should obliterate you. And I don't think there's anyone in the universe who would blame me. That's where Goku is going. Is he a villain? No. But he is the biggest detriment to Universe 7 right now. He's not a Frieza. He's not a Cell. He's not a Majin Buu. He's chaotic neutral. And as anyone who knows me knows, chaotic neutral is my most hated alignment in D&D. Because that's the alignment that makes you think you can get away with anything. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super. Those are my predictions for the Universe Survival Arc. I appreciate you going through this long rambling and sticking with me through this. I hope you've enjoyed this. As Dragon Ball Super comes along, if there's significant interest in this video, I may be willing to do more of these. So, again, thank you for watching. As always, keep it casual.